Hey there, Washington Commanders fans. Today we've got some red-hot news that'll keep you glued to the video till the end. I know everyone's pumped about the Commanders' victory over the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football, but we're not just talking about the win here. Jaden Daniels' debut was brilliant, true, but as always, there's a but we need to discuss. Can we really keep dreaming big with this team? Plus, there's a huge problem that showed up on national TV, and I'm going to talk about it. But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, because today we're going to debate everything about this game and the Commanders' future. Now think about it. Facing a team like the Bengals, who despite being 0-2, were still widely favored, everyone thought this would be the game that finally put the Bengals back on track. It was that perfect chance for them to get their house in order and get back to winning ways. But what happened? The Commanders went out there and, with a stellar performance, threw a wrench in their plans. The victory was convincing, and what can we say about Daniels' debut? He simply stole the show. He arrived showing he didn't come to play second fiddle. But hold on, fans, keep that excitement in check because we've got more to discuss. We know winning is always great, especially in prime time in front of millions of people, but it's not all roses. If there's one thing fans need to pay attention to, it's the team's balance. Did the offense work? It did, and very well. The Commanders scored on practically every possession, and 5 of those 6 ended in touchdowns. The efficiency was absurd, with an average of 6.2 yards per play and 356 total yards accumulated. And check out this detail. 2 consecutive games without committing turnovers and without needing to punt the ball. That's historic, folks. Since the Super Bowl era, no team has ever achieved this mark. Amazing, right? But hold tight because we're about to get to the problems. Now, about the defense, friends, this is where we need to have a serious talk. We know the offense shined, but if the defense continues like this, the future might not be as bright as it seems. Because, honestly, letting Joe Burrow complete 29 of 38 passes for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns, that's a huge red flag. There's no way to sustain victories if the team continues to allow 33 points like they did on Monday night. In the NFL, it's extremely rare to see a team win while scoring more than 30 points per game while giving up so much on the other side. Something needs to change, and fast. Speaking of change, the main problem is in our secondary. The Bengals receivers were running free all over the place, and that first drive of theirs, Burrow threw a 41-yard bomb to Chase, which put the Bengals ahead right from the start. That complicates things, doesn't it? The Commanders' defense simply couldn't consistently pressure Burrow, even though they managed 2 sacks, which is the season record so far. But 2 sacks and 5 pressures won't be enough to stop an offense like the Bengals in a game they came to win at all costs. And here comes a fundamental question, folks. We can celebrate, yes, but we can't ignore that if the team doesn't adjust the defensive sector, victories like this won't always happen. It's that old story. Offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And let's face it, if the plan is to compete for the playoffs and dream of something more, the defense will need to step up, especially when we face teams with offenses as powerful as the Bengals. Now, of course, we have to give credit to the Commanders' offense and our offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. The guy did a spectacular job putting together the game plan. He knew exactly what to expect from the Bengals' defense and put Daniels in favorable situations all the time. It was incredible to see the team executing plays with such precision, especially on 3rd downs and in the red zone, where we were simply relentless. We didn't miss anything in the red zone, finishing 3 for 3. This shows that the team has the potential to be an offensive machine. But, as I said, the victory will only have value if we can correct the defensive flaws. It's no use having the offense on point if the defense doesn't keep up. If we want to keep beating strong teams, we have to fix this house. And let's be honest, what we saw on Monday night is not a sustainable model for winning in the NFL week after week. The defense will have to get it together if we want to keep dreaming. The defense has been a constant problem throughout the season. Since the first game, the defensive sector hasn't been able to maintain consistency. And this has worried not only the coaching staff, but also us, the fans. The lack of constant pressure on the opposing quarterback is one of the main reasons why rival receivers can routinely run free on the field. In the NFL, if you give time to elite quarterbacks like Joe Burrow, they'll destroy you. It was no different on Monday. The Bengals' defensive coordinator is known to be one of the best in the league. And even so, he had no answer for the Commanders' offense. The work that Kingsbury did with Daniels was surgical. They exploited every weak point in the Bengals' defense and showed an efficiency that we haven't seen in the Commanders for a long time. The problem is that our defense couldn't do the same. On Monday night, Ekeler was one of the standout performers in the hard-fought 38-33 victory against the Cincinnati Bengals. However, during the third quarter, our running back took a heavy hit and was taken to the locker room, leaving fans and teammates worried. He had been playing exceptionally well up to that point, with explosive runs and kickoff returns that greatly helped secure good field position for the Commanders. But the news that he was being evaluated for a possible concussion left everyone on edge. Well, folks, after the game, Coach Dan Quinn didn't provide many details about Ekeler's condition, which only increased the anxiety. He mentioned we would have more information on Tuesday, which made us even more eager for an official update. And finally, it arrived. And look, it wasn't the best. Ekeler did indeed suffer a concussion, and on top of that had a laceration on his ear. And what's worse, he's already been sent back to Virginia to begin the concussion protocol. In other words, the chances of him returning for the next game against the Arizona Cardinals are pretty slim. Now, speaking as a fan, it's hard not to be concerned. Ekeler is a key piece in the Commanders' offense, and losing him for the next game, or maybe even more games, could complicate things for the team. Before getting injured, he had already made a huge difference on the field. He had 2 receptions for 22 yards, 3 rushes for 35 yards and a touchdown, plus an incredible 62-yard kickoff return that set the stage for the team to score points. The guy was flying, and that makes the injury even more painful. So what happens now? Who's going to fill the void left by Ekeler? Well, veteran Jeremy McNichols should take on the primary role alongside Brian Robinson Jr., which could be an interesting combination. McNichols has experience and has already shown he can be reliable when called upon. Additionally, Coach Dan Quinn is likely to promote one of the practice squad players, either Chris Rodriguez Jr. or Michael Wiley, to strengthen the running back group. Now, the question remains, can McNichols and the others maintain the level that Ekeler had been showing? And what about this decision to send Ekeler back to Virginia while the rest of the team is already in Arizona? This might seem like a risky move, but it makes perfect sense. The Commanders decided to fly directly to Arizona after the game against the Bengals to avoid a long trip back home and then another grueling journey to the West. It's already a strategy used by several NFL teams to minimize fatigue caused by cross-country travel. So, technically, Ekeler will be resting and following the protocol with more focus, while the team continues its preparation away from home. The point is that the team needs to prepare for a possible absence of Ekeler in the next game. And folks, we know that the Arizona Cardinals won't make life easy for the Commanders either. Without Ekeler, the offense will have to adjust, and the weight on the shoulders of McNichols, Robinson Jr., and company will increase. But if there's one thing we know, it's that the Commanders have a depth in their roster that can make a difference. Everyone will have to step up if they want to secure another away victory. And speaking of the season, Ekeler's absence could mean even more changes in how the team will face the coming weeks. We know that the NFL's concussion protocol is rigorous, and there's no way to rush this process. So while Ekeler recovers, the focus has to be on maintaining intensity in training and preparing the replacement pieces. It's going to be a real test of fire for the coaching staff and the running back group, and we'll be here, following every step and rooting for the team to continue with the same momentum they've shown so far. Now look here, fans. What do you think about this whole situation? Will the Commanders be able to overcome Ekeler's absence in the next game? And who do you think should be promoted to help in the backfield? Leave it in the comments because I want to know your opinion. And of course, subscribe to the channel and leave that like, because we're going to continue following closely everything that happens with the Commanders, especially while Ekeler is out. Oh, and don't forget to hit the bell to not miss anything. Let's follow every detail of this season together.